The national security says he has been involved in criminality. So he's a criminal walking around, a criminal suspect.
Well, I wish that had not been said, because it raises legitimate questions. If there is record of complicity of Mr. Opare Addo in criminal activities, at what point in time was that seen? Was that uncovered? And subsequent to that, what has been the action taken relative to him? Or is that why his appointment is being terminated? Then give the further and better particulars of the alleged crime that he's supposed to have.
He says non-performance and criminality. That's why he's being terminated.
Non-performance is a different matter. Criminality, serious matter. To level against a regional security liaison officer. Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Former commander of police in the region.
Yes. See, I have some difficulties. Mr. Opare Addo, his contract appointment was, yes, under the instructions of the president, but it was signed by the former National Security Coordinator, the late chairman. It means that power had been delegated to chairman, the National Security Coordinator, to undertake that exercise. If you, I have this letter here, February 2020, this is when they were extending.
Contract of appointment.
Contract appointment, when they were extending this February 2020. It is signed by Joshua Chairman, National Security Coordinator. Even though, let's be honest, he says, I have the honor to inform you that His Excellency, the President, has authorized your appointment on contract for a period of 2 years as Principal Analyst in the National Security Council Secretariat with effect from 1st January 2020. This is the renewal one. Wow, because you know there was an earlier one. Yes, but delegated authority. That's what it means. Right. I mean, you are, both of you are lawyers. So that is it. Now, his appointment is then terminated with the effect of a letter, 19 February 2021. This is signed by the new National Security Coordinator that is acting, as is stated here. Clearly, the previous one appointed him based on delegated authority. The new one, with the same delegated authority, terminates. I will be surprised if this termination was without reference to the president. I'll be surprised, but I don't have the evidence yet. Now, I've been asking myself, and then a new person, Francis Atta, appointed 21st April 2021.
Francis Dofa Atta.
Dofa Atta, as the new person. Of course, this time, the letter is signed by the Chief Director, Ministry for National Security. Now, from the February to the incident, what was Opare Addo doing at the office? Handing over notes, getting ready to exit, as he himself has said openly. In between, you see, I've been trying, I've asked, and I don't have it. Did he respond to the 19th February 21st termination letter? Officially, you know, you are saying he's an experienced police officer and experienced lawyer. And indeed, I have tracked him, and he's one of those I like, even though he had problems with the political parties in 2000. These things, there should be a trade.
A lot of people see him as a man of integrity.
I wouldn't doubt that, because that's the way I also see him. But I don't see him as a perfect professional, because none of us is. And all of us will be subject to some omissions or commissions at a different time also. It happens to all of us, none of us. But integrity, no, I wouldn't doubt it. Perfection, I'll question whether there's any human being out there who has it. You see, and that is part of my challenge. Because when your appointment is terminated and you think it's irregular, as a lawyer, he will be minded, if you are challenging this termination, it should be in writing. If you are challenging, you should even reference the president if you think it's the president that appointed you. And so you won't leave unless the president tells you to leave.
You heard him that he had sought audience with the president and
is it written?
He was to stay on when the president returns.
My brother, is it written? We're talking here of serious business.
Supposing all that has not been done, you heard the National Security Chief who spoke to us?
Yes.
He says what? The group went there to do what? Mediation, to mediate.
See, first of all, I would have, and I agree with Sammy, I would have asked the regional police command to be in charge of that operation. That's what I would have done. And also, that's you are using psycho analysis, intelligence, everything. This is a former police person. It would be more comfortable if you want to eject him from the office for whatever reasons. He's been there. He's not leaving. What you are even saying shows that he wasn't prepared to exit unless the president say exit. Meanwhile, these are president's appointees who is delegated authority to. That's why I was asking for some communication. But whatever it is, I would have used the police in the region. The boys who went there are actually national security personnel. 4 from Accra. When the 4 boys got to Kumasi, maybe it's unfair to call them boys, security operatives, went to Kumasi. Then they invited 3 of their boys who are stationed in Kumasi to join them. You see something? I've heard him say he will sue or he will take action. You know, if he's going to sue, he can't sue Delta Force. He cannot. He has to sue national security and the operatives who came there. I have to be very honest with you. I've checked the list of the names, the 7. There are 2 that I think indeed were associated with Delta Force.
The names he mentions and ascribes
you see,
to that.
In his statement, he never mentions, in his statement to the police the same day of the incident, he never mentioned Delta Force. There is not a word of Delta Force in his statement. So the Delta Force might have come in because he mentions 3 names here. Mohammed Seidu. I think it rings a bell. If you go to Delta Force background. Then some Mustafa, he's Mustafa Mohammed, I found the full name, known as Staff. I suspect he too had Delta Force connections. So you see, there is no doubt that Delta Force elements have been recruited. They are what the people you call tabletop operatives. You see, and the problem with Samir's analysis is that he does it in a selective manner. Something you would know. These tabletop operatives is a culture, and that's why I agree with you. It's a culture. All the administrations that have come in the Fourth Republic have recruited and employed such persons. They are on tabletop. Their names are not captured even on the payroll of national security. That's why they call them tabletop. They go and take their money month ending and they go. And most of them are party fanatics or party foot soldiers.
And at the appropriate time, when the recruitment into the army, to the police, then
they go in there. It's a fact. Indeed, no, Sammy, don't doubt it. You see, if we want to purge the institutions, and that's why Yahweh was coming from.
We have just 2 minutes to finish the show.
Oh, then,
really?
Then let me.
Sorry.
Let me go to Caleb. Because
yes.
Otherwise,
Caleb.
it would be unfair.
Yeah, Caleb.
Look, let me put it on record. First of all, I was wondering what are the standard operating procedures that were violated, were breached. In my mind, see, the way and manner they invaded City FM was a breach. The way and manner Caleb entered without detection on the person, not on Caleb. I'm not blaming Caleb, I'm blaming the man who was on duty. He's breached. The deletion, taking their phones, fine, Caesar. But proceeding further to delete, by law, you can't do that. It's a breach. Now, the question about the statement, the ministry.
The assault.
The assault, for me, it's implied, it's not explicit. Assault really goes beyond standard operating procedures.
Inappropriate conduct.
It's almost criminal, in my candid opinion, if you are talking assault. So, whilst perhaps there is a connection to the standard operating...
We have 30 seconds. What should happen beyond this release?
beyond this release, you see, we should go back to certain things. Check the NRC recommendations, institutional reforms. Check the Constitutional Review Commission's position on security agencies. Check Ayawaso West Wagon recommendations. Something we have not been doing enough in terms of implementing recommendations that have been brought on board, in terms of the orientation, the culture.
All right. I'm sorry,
talking
but
of that is why you are Graham.
We have run out of time. I cannot say thank you. I cannot say thank you enough. My guests have been
never get a drink.
Dr. Yao Graham, Coordinator, Third World Network, Africa. Yabuabia Samoa, Director of Communications, New Patriotic Party. Sami Jemfi is National Communications Officer, National Democratic Congress. Abdul Malik Baako, Editor-in-Chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. Rhoda Osea for Esteemed Leader for Elections, Kodeo. Dr. Srebo Kweku is Director of Elections, Electoral Commission of Ghana. And I cannot say thank you enough to all of you. You have sent us a lot of messages. Unfortunately, we are unable to share them because we have run out of time. And today, those of you commenting about my outfit, it is by Habil's Couture. And you can find them at Adringano, opposite Villa David Estates. Have a good afternoon.